pretty much just the normal
Ugh.
around these parts. Welcome to our neck of the woods. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 89 of the Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
Yes.
How are you doing? How is
I'm okay.
quarantine week 2?
I've left my house. Well, I took a walk around my apartment complex, which I'm lucky to have a very nice looking, large, spacious, forested apartment complex. But other than that, I've left the house once this week to go into my office and take my equipment out because we have been officially closed for at least the next month.
Yeah.
And they're like, now you can take your actual computer home. So
funny.
I'm talking to you. This is why my my camera angle looks different, because I put it on top of my giant monitor. I have a giant monitor. It's
There
so
you
much
go.
better. My life is so much better. All I need now is the office chair. They wouldn't let us take those. Strictly only the computer equipment. The furniture had to stay there. And I've realized I've taken that chair for granted. It is the best chair I've ever known. My normal chair here at the apartment is trash.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. The chair that I'm in right now is like standard office chair.
Yeah.
But it's one that I got for free. My roommate found it like in the trash, just on the side of the road, and she couldn't really find much wrong with it. So she was like, "Well, let's just take it. And maybe we can sell it at least." I was like, but I need a chair. So I have this one. And the only thing wrong is that the armrest on this side, which is my left, like a part of the plastic, like it's a big old plastic piece that like makes kind of like a trapezoid shape thing. And it's like snapped at one part, but it's still like hard enough plastic that it stays there in shape. It's totally fine. But besides that, it's also not the most comfortable chair.
This chair is flat
squeaks.
pretty much.
Anyways, riveting discussion about our chairs.
Well, these are the things that have become very important in my life now. When my life has been narrowed down to however many square feet my apartment is, everything in the apartment becomes so pivotal, and I've become real upset at this chair. Last year, I thought, like, maybe I should get a new office chair. But I'm like, no, I think I want to get these other things. And I got this podcast equipment. Like, I got the new mic and the new camera, which I needed. And I'm like, I'll get a chair later. I'm like, you should have. What a waste of Christmas money on whatever else it was you spent it on. You should have gotten that chair.
Yeah, I've been wanting a new chair as well, but I'm in that boat where it's like, well, I don't like the one I have works for now.
Yeah,
Like, I'm fine with it, so I don't need one just yet. But I want one of those like fancy gaming chairs.
Oh.
Even though I know I absolutely don't need one of those. I just need like another normal chair. But it's like, but I want the cool looking ones.
Well, you gotta just get more clout as a video game podcaster. Maybe they will. You can be sponsored. You will get some sort of a discount on your fine gaming chair.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of like being a good podcaster and sponsorships and stuff.
Yeah.
This is not an advertisement, but I wanted to give a shout out to the support team from Me Undies.
Oh, good.
They've been fantastic. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I had this like weird thing, like this interaction with them because they've been out of socks for like 6 months, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I'm trying to buy socks, and you guys never have them. And so they credited me like $8, which they then used on my February order. But then this month, I get my email that's like, hey, your stuff is about to ship. This is your like last chance to like change things.
Yeah.
And in that, they also mentioned that $8 was being credited to my account. I was like, huh, okay. I don't know why, but sure, great. So my total that was usually like $24 each month was now $16. I was like, oh, that's great. And as a member, socks are $8.
Nice.
An extra pair of socks.
Oh,
back
cool.
up to my normal total. And then this morning I got an email that was like we're shipping your stuff. It's all ready to go. You can't really make changes anymore. And they were like, and your total is $32. I was like, whoa, no. So I emailed them back, and I was just like, hey, I don't know what happened, but you guys emailed me saying I had an $8 credit. It should be $24, not $32. I can email you forward you the stuff if you guys need me to do all of that stuff. And they were like, nope, we got you. It was a mistake on our end, but we'll honor it. So $8 off. And I was just like, thank you. Good for you guys.
Oh, good.
So, shout out to them.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh boy. We have been struggling to come up with content for this episode. Thankfully, we have some stuff. We'll be talking about some music and stuff, but it's so strange to be in this like self-isolation quarantine kind of thing where I'm already kind of a shut-in, so I don't do much anyways, but now it's like elevated to the nth degree, and I was just like, man, I have nothing to talk about on the Captain's Log this week. So we're actually recording this on Saturday afternoon. We normally record Friday nights. I'll get to why we move that in a sec, but I was kind of glad when you were like, hey, can we record tomorrow? And I was like, oh, thank God, I have nothing to talk about. So yeah, we came up with some stuff finally, but I want to hear about your night last night.
Yeah, my friend Jack and I have been virtually watching movies together because we can't watch them in person. So we will just start a movie
at the same Netflix party thing.
No, we've just been texting each other the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
What is the Netflix party?
There's an extension, I think, for Google Chrome that makes it so one person can sign into their Netflix and watch something, and the other person can watch it with them. And there's a live chat thing. So you guys can like watch at the same time on your laptop, if that works.
Oh.
But
well, we haven't been watching Netflix things. One of these things I was watching was a DVD.
Oh, man. Old school.
Right? Oh, well, you got to save some of that bandwidth for somebody else. You can't have all the bandwidth. You have to watch a disc sometimes.
Yeah. I actually watched a DVD this week, and it's one that we'll be talking about on the review show.
Same.
Episode 100 of the review show.
Yeah. Big.
Coming up. Yeah. But what did you watch?
We did watch Spider-Man 2 together, which is an old favorite. And then last night she's like, I also
watched on DVD because I have that one.
It's a movie everyone should own. Put one in every household.
Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm getting ready to move into a new house. Here's all of my paper towels. Here's my light bulbs. There's my DVD Blu-ray copy of Spider-Man 2 directed by Sam Raimi.
Yep.
We watched that. And then last night she asked me if I wanted to watch 1917 because neither of us have seen it.
Okay.
And we're film nerds.
How was that?
But we're also like, it was good. We'd been trepidatious about watching it as we are about many dramas.
Interesting.
where there's the line of "This looks interesting, but will I just be bummed out?" And I'm like, I think I'm up for it now because I feel like I can watch harrowing things since I am being harrowed.
Yeah. It's like, this is now par for the course.
Right. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to watch Misery because that's, how different is that from what I'm doing? So we watched 1917 and texted about it.
Or at least you're sitting there and be like, man, my situation's not that bad.
I mean, my brothers are theoretically also in danger. So it's not just you.
Yeah. Good
That
stuff.
movie has something I've never seen in any other film. It has an instance of Chekhov's milk. Now, of course, Chekhov's gun, the narrative trope, Chekhov's gun, where if a gun is introduced in the first act, it must go off in the third act. So these boys are walking across France, and they go to this abandoned farmhouse, and they're looking for food.
Did
They're
the milk
hungry.
explode? I'm trying to think of they introduced milk in the first act. How did the milk go off in the third act?
Well, one of them just finds a bucket of milk. And this farm is just recent, the family is just run off. Whoop, too much war around us. We're gonna leave the farm. So he finds a bucket of milk. The cow has just been milked, and he drinks some of the milk. And his canteen is empty. He's poured all the water out of his canteen already because he's gotten pretty battered up to this point on all his injuries. So he pours the milk into his canteen, which is a wild concept to begin with. A canteen.
You guys can see the face I'm making.
It's a canteen full of wild farm milk. So he's got this canteen full of milk, and you don't think about it for an hour until he comes across this. He goes through another war-torn, semi-abandoned French village, and he finds this young lady who's caring for a baby that she's found there abandoned. And he's like, I'll share the little bits of food that I have with you. Here's some of my rations. And the girl says she needs milk. And he's like,
funny.
I have milk.
Amazing.
I had not heard this about the film, that there was a milk subplot. And it was a real delight to discover.
It's so strange. So I played through a video game called Death Stranding.
Is there milk in this?
Huh?
Is there milk in this?
There is not milk.
Okay.
But you do have a canteen, and there are certain moments in the game which the game is oddly relevant. Again, nowadays, it's a game by Hideo Kojima, famous for Metal Gear Solid. And in Metal Gear Solid, I believe it was 2, he had this big long speech where he is predicting how the internet will work before it was kind of a thing, and he nailed it. And then Death Stranding comes out, and it's about this society where everyone lives indoors. The country is broken, and the only people that are outside still are delivery men and stuff like that. So it's just that's kind of what's happening now. It's weird.
Whoops.
Yeah, but you go into your special room at these certain locations. It's a little hotel room that you can sleep and shower in and stuff like that. But they always have Monster energy drinks in there, and you can drink those, and it boosts your stamina and stuff like that. But you can also use your canteen in the game and collect water. You can go to a stream or stuff like that, and you can collect water, except that water then turns into Monster energy drink once it's in your canteen. Yeah, it has some kind of weird filter that's and voila, it's now Monster energy drink.
What flavor? Multiple flavors?
This would be just standard, the
Green?
green.
What flavor is it? Is it
Monster.
green?
Have you never had an energy?
I have had
drink?
I've had the Monster Rehabs, which are a lot of
I haven't had those
tea.
ones.
Those
Okay,
are
have you had a
really
Red
good,
Bull?
actually. I think I had a sip of one once.
It's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's weird. How would you describe the taste of an energy drink? Like they have ones that's like, oh, here's our citrus flavored one, but like
Yeah.
just the regular one. Like what flavor is Red Bull? It's not Bull
Is
flavored.
it red?
No. I mean, it is like a citrusy, fruity kind of thing, but it's also not. Like, it has a very distinct taste. That's weird. I'm having an existential crisis. How would you explain that? That's so weird. Let me see if I can look this up.
Yeah.
What flavor is Red Bull? Red Bull. Now, see, they're giving me the additions that actually do have types of flavors. Oh, here we go. Ask Reddit. Let's see. This is coming from Reddit. Let's see if we get some good answers here. Posted 7 years ago
Ugh.
by user Lycanthrope.
How early did you get on Reddit to have the username Lycanthrope?
I mean, I don't know if it's spelled exactly the same way. It's Leican.
Oh yeah, that's
THROPE.
different.
But their question is, what is Red Bull supposed to taste like anyhow? With the new flavors of Red Bull that are out, that are now on offer at 7-Eleven in stores in the United States, I'm wondering what regular Red Bull is supposed to taste like. Does anyone know if they were actually aiming for a discernible flavor, or was what they ended up with just an accident? Let's see here.
Like the mystery flavor Airheads.
Right. So answer number 1, liquid Smarties.
Ah.
Answer number 2, like a lemon that has been sexually assaulted by cough syrup.
I don't like that.
Answer number 3, it tastes like bad pink bubble gum to me.
Huh.
Someone else says, I think the flavor of Red Bull is going for an old flat Mountain Dew filtered through a well-used bowling shoe. So someone else just said cherry. And the last one I'll read says, broken dreams and jitters. In actuality, I think its flavor comes from a more exotic flavors of energy drinks in Asia, where the founder of Red Bull, or possibly Monster, I can't remember, first encountered them. And then someone else, the original poster, says, I've had Thai Red Bull before. It's similar and better in my opinion, but I still can't place that one either. Weird. No one seems to know.
Ooh. Maybe it's time to get to the bottom of this.
Who knows? I totally forgot what we were talking about before this.
Oh, well,
this,
we
like,
were talking about 1917, and then you were
That's right.
explaining Death
Milk.
Stranding to me.
The milk. I went off on a tangent. I apologize for cutting you off. Melissa, please continue with your exploding milk story.
Well, that was it. Just that he picked up the milk, and later somebody needed the milk.
He was like, I have milk. Okay. So speaking of movies, I see that you put a trailer for a book
Right?
in our thing. I don't understand this. Like, are they making a film based off of this book? Is this just like,
No.
are they making a fan film? Or is this just like, we're just going to make a live action trailer for a book?
That's it. That's what they did.
That's kind of
talked
wild.
about Right? We've talked about movie trailers on the show before. Maybe even occasionally a video game trailer before you had a whole separate show to do that on.
Sure.
I found this book trailer, and I've encountered book trailers before, but it's typically just like graphics, text on a
Right.
screen, cool music. The book in question is the next book in this Dresden Files series that I like. And it's a wonder that YouTube showed me this trailer because I like these books, but I've not looked them up on YouTube. I'm not sure how the algorithm knew I liked this, but it gave it to me. It gave it to me exactly when I needed it.
Sure.
So it's a trailer for this book that is 2 solid minutes of live action footage. They hired dozens of actors, costumed them, there's sets, there's special effects.
Amazing.
It looks just like a movie trailer, but it's all for a book. This is the only footage that exists, and I've never seen a book trailer done like this. And I think, and I love this series, but outside of that, just the novelty of this trailer I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. You've been kind of in the background. You haven't talked about it for a long time, but you've been reading the Dresden Files books.
I've finished them.
Oh, you have. Okay.
Oh yeah. I read these.
I don't think I knew that.
I started them 2 years ago. I remember it was March 2018, and I finished all 15 novels by October 2018.
That's a lot.
Since then, I've been chipping away at the 2 short story collections, maybe like a story a month or something to try and stretch them out. But I'm going to finish those off because the next book, and the entire time, like in the 2 years since I've been reading the series, everyone I've heard talk about it's like, I can't wait for this dang next book. Like, he's been writing it forever. We don't have a release date. And so now finally we have a release date, and it's July. And then the book after that comes out in September. Again, wild.
He must have written them like back to back.
I
and then been like,
guess.
oh shit, this is like 2 books in one. And then he's like, okay, how do we make this actually 2 books?
I guess maybe they were like, well, is this what the world needs now? Let's just give them both books in a 3-month span. I've never seen this. It's like, we're going to put them both out at once, or it's at least like a 6, 9, 12-month break. No, July and September is when we're getting these books. So I've got this to look forward to. This is two new bright spots in my year now, right?
That's exciting.
And I'm sure I can just order them and they'll arrive to me. Somebody will surely still be shipping me a book. We need books. Yeah, we'll have books.
I mean, I'm still getting my underwear shipped to me with MeUndies, so
right.
Things are still happening. But yeah, so this was interesting to me because I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know what this was for exactly. I was like, is this for a book or is this for a fan film? What is this? Because they have like special effects and all. Like there's one that he's like, I am dumb enough to do this thing, and he does the "you shall not pass" thing, and there's this big like spell thing that comes out, and I'm just like they actually put time into this. Like this is not just a throwaway. We did this in a weekend at our home. They had credits. They had a key grip in the credits. Like
there's several pages of credits at the end of the video.
Right? Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand. But yeah, that's neat. That's fascinating. Did you when you were younger ever used to like make home movies and stuff? Your brothers or your friends?
I would make them like if I had to for a school project, like in 11th grade.
Mhm.
I forget if it was world history or American history class, but it was the World War II unit. And like for a bonus credit, we could make like a short propaganda video.
Okay.
Like maybe propaganda is like a big word for it, but that's sort of like buy war bonds, support your boys, like make a little video like that. And one of the facts that I learned in that history class was that bacon fat had to be like salvaged. Like if you cooked bacon at your house, you'd bundle up that bacon fat and take it to your local a military office, recruitment office, like, here's my bacon fat. And they're like, thank you. Because they used it for something. Like, I forget what it is now, but I know there was something that the military needed bacon fat for. So, like, everybody was cooking bacon and taking the fat, like, to the military. So this video was about, it was just me and my brothers, my nephew and my dad, and my mom. So there's a framing device where like me and my mom are in the kitchen and I'm like, wait, no, Mom, don't throw away that bacon fat. And then it flashes into like me and my brother and my nephew were soldiers. My dad, my dad is like our colonel and he's wearing this like Teddy Roosevelt hat. And we had him sitting in front of an American flag and he's like giving us orders. Like we had to go out and fight Hitler. Which is just my brother and a paper mustache. And like, but it's also the three of us as these soldiers. Like we're all wearing green t-shirts and we have like a plastic helmet on. And then there's a fourth soldier who's only a paint drawing we keep cutting to.
Amazing.
And we all had like really cheesy names. And I forget what the rest of our name. Oh no, one of us, Jams was named Dirk Courage. But then he would say, it's pronounced Courage.
Courage.
And then the Microsoft Paint drawing was named Johnny America. And like he was the golden boy of our platoon. We all loved Johnny America. And we'd talk about him and it would just cut to this paint drawing. And then at the end he died and we all mourned Johnny America.
Oh, man.
Oh, and the final shot of the thing, it does end with the like remember the Titans. This is what this person went on to do.
That's great.
And I think one of us like it says whatever the fact is, and then we walk away and we do like Breakfast Club arm, and then I have Don't You Forget About Me playing over the end credits.
That's amazing.
It was called Bacon, the Grease of Fate. I don't know if any of us have a copy of this anymore.
That's wild.
I haven't thought about this since I was 17. So I made that. But other than that, I did not tend to do videos recreationally, just for school.
We kind of did some stuff recreationally growing up. I don't remember most of them. I do remember one of them, kind of, and it was just dumb as hell. It was like the exact same stuff. It was, I think we were having like a sleepover at my friend's house, and so we decided to make a movie, and we're like, we haven't made a horror movie yet. Let's make a horror film. So we're like,
hit every genre.
Yeah. So it was like us all at my friend's house, and there was a news alert on the TV that a serial killer from the local insane asylum had escaped. Right? Just local insane asylum.
I do have to stop and ask you, because we live in very different parts of the country. Do y'all have those?
Not that I know of.
Because, like, I would assume
that's public, of like, hey y'all, it's your friendly local neighborhood insane asylum.
Because I would guess not, but then I'm like, well, I don't know what's in Northern Virginia. That seems like a very gothic place to live.
But yeah, so it was a serial killer that escaped, only known as the King.
It's Elvis.
Right. and so we were all scared, like, oh man, that's right down the road. That's like down the neighborhood. What if he comes here? What if he starts killing us? And as we're like panicking and all of that stuff, you can hear like thunder outside and stuff. And
was this real thunder, or was this somebody shaking a cookie sheet?
This was like shaking a cookie sheet and stuff like that, or at least like finding a sound on the line and like playing it on a laptop or an iPod with speakers like right behind the camera.
Yeah.
And like when the thunder hit, the lights flickered on and off, and then we heard someone starting to come down the stairs, and we were all like, oh no. And then we did this like really strange editing thing where when the lights went off, we could actually like pause it and then like go like do something, change something, and then unpause it and then turn the lights back on. So we would be in different positions, we'd be in different outfits and stuff as the lights went off and on. And then it turns out it wasn't the serial killer at first. It was one of our other friends who was checking in on us, and we did this thing with him where after every, like, he only spoke in one-liners, and after every line we had those like those promotional keychains from Axe body spray that if you hit the button, it went bow chicka wow wow. And so after every line, someone had that, and it just went bow chicka wow wow.
So this is a horror movie and also a porn.
It was like a horror comedy, yeah. Eventually the serial killer came and was killing us off all one by one, and then we decided to like fight back and capture him, and we finally captured him. And we found out why he was named the King, because when we looked at his face, we had a printed out mask of Burger King's the King. And he was murdering us all, and then we did this Scooby-Doo thing, well, we need to find out who the king really is. Let's take off that mask. And so we take off that mask, and we have another mask that we printed off of Shaquille O'Neal.
For a specific
and
reason?
The mouth. What was that?
For a specific reason? Has somebody also called him the King?
No, it was just random. I'm just like,
okay.
Who should be under the mask? And so someone was like,
Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal. But we had his mouth cut out and his eyes cut out. So the person was just sitting there holding it to their face, being like, I hate you, Kobe. And it was so dumb. It was terrible, but that's the stupid stuff that we did. I have no idea how we got on this conversation. We're all over the
we were talking about this book
today.
trailer.
I'm on like quarantine brain,
right?
Where I mean, like I'm a shut-in anyways. Like, this is what I do. I stay at home. I lock myself in my room, so that's not much of a change to me. But on Friday, I was actually very restless because I wanted to be in my bed. It's like I just want to go lay down and like sleep and take a nap and like watch TV from my bed. But I'm supposed to be working. And so I'm just gonna like get up and pace because I want to lay down.
Yeah.
Like, instead of laying down, I was just like, I'm going to stand up and walk.
Right. Well, once you lay down, you don't get up.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, I stay away from my bed. It's not good. But I don't know about you. Something weird that I did notice is I'm actually falling behind on a lot of like the podcasts that I listen to and the TV shows that I watch. I'm like, in my normal workday, I have a fairly strict schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I like need to enforce it or stuff like that, but just like I have a commute, so I listen to podcasts while I do that. I listen while I work. I can do all of this stuff, and this is just like I wake up, roll out of bed in my pajamas, log in at work, start working. I haven't started a podcast, so I've missed out, and I'm so behind now. It's like, oh man, I have so much to catch up on.
Like, I haven't been listening to as many podcasts while I work because I can listen to DVD commentaries.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm like, I have so much more time, and yet I'm falling behind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. It's strange.
Yeah.
Strange stuff. Okay. One thing I did kind of message you about before we started recording.
You did message me. You did not approximately message me.
This is normally the type of thing that I would tell you like a couple of days in advance so you could prepare if you wanted to. But I was like, again, with like, I don't know what to talk about. I was like, music. I don't think we've really talked about music
really,
on here all that much. I was like, let's talk about our musical journeys and stuff like that, of just like, what were your first CDs that you bought or that you remember? What were your favorite ones? What are the ones you are ashamed to have listened to and stuff like that, or you don't listen to anymore? What is Melissa's taste in music?
Oh, Jiminy's, I don't know. This is why I don't talk about music very often, because I know there's like, it can get into really specific genres, and I don't have the language in my head to tell things apart, to categorize things, to describe things. You know, it's like looking at a painting and like you don't know anything about art criticism. You're just like, oh, it's pretty. I like how much green is in it. Like, this is how I feel about music, and I feel like everybody else like knows things to say.
That's interesting to me, because we basically do critiquing and discussion on that stuff every week on the review show. And I guess I've always just thought about it as like, it doesn't matter what medium the art is in. That's just kind of how you talk about art. You talk about like what things work and what things don't work and what you felt connected to and stuff like that. Not necessarily like, this is good.
That is how I am about music. Like, I don't know what to do with it. I am a frequent Spotify user, so thank goodness I've at least got that to kind of look back at me and describe me. Apparently I like indie rock. Couldn't have told you that unless Spotify told me first. Yeah, indie rock, modern rock, soft rock, folk pop. Like, I don't know what these are.
Come on, Melissa. Folk pop? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a bunch of folks that pop.
Like, I'm looking, like, I took screenshots of my Spotify like last year in review. They make you like that little slideshow of infographics, and it gave me like a bar chart of genres I liked, and I screenshotted it. Like, I couldn't tell you which of the artists I like go into these genre boxes. Like, they didn't give me that much. This is why I don't talk about music. Like, I don't know what to say.
What is the first album you remember buying?
So when we were kids, we would spend a lot of weekends driving out to my dad's parents' farm, which was like 2.5 hours away. And a lot of times Dad would take us to Best Buy like that morning or the night before, and he'd be like, okay, kids, you can pick out a Rhodes CD to listen to in your headsets while we drive. And we're kids. And like, so we have no music taste. Like, we have no idea what we're supposed to get. So we just bought a lot of soundtracks for things.
Okay.
So there's I grew up with a lot
That
of
works.
really specific soundtracks. I had the soundtrack to Malcolm in the Middle. I had the soundtrack to the Drew Carey Show. Like, things you don't think of as having soundtracks.
I was gonna say, like, those are both television shows.
Well, that
I
had
mean-
songs in them sometimes, enough to
Yeah.
make a CD for us to buy.
Like, when I think of soundtracks, I think of like movies or video games, and
We had
and-
movie
and stuff like
soundtracks.
that.
I
I don't normally associate that with TV shows, even though I know they have them.
Yeah. We had movie soundtracks. I still have the soundtrack to Shrek. I have
Wonderful.
yeah, I still have 5 different Pokemon CDs.
And then I saw her face. I'm a believer.
I remember we used to play that a lot while we were swimming in our like 6-foot round aluminum pool in the backyard.
Classic.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to think of what the first album that I bought
Mm-hmm.
was, because my parents had a lot of CDs and a lot of like, they just had a ton of them.
That's good.
And my parents, like, my dad has a very specific taste in music. He likes country. He likes gunfighter ballads and
What?
and stuff like that. Gunfighter ballads, like old Western songs.
Okay.
Big iron on his head.
Oh, right. My dad had some of those too. My dad was
like
a
old like Marty Robbins.
yeah.
Stuff like that, which that I oddly enough, like, I don't like Western or country music. I have an odd affinity for that, like, Marty Robbins gunfighter ballads vinyl.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just really like that one. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But my mom had everything. She had stuff from like Yanni to Will Smith, and like the soundtrack to the Shaquille O'Neal movie Steel, based off the DC comics, and yeah, like it just like, I didn't understand my mom's taste, also because she never listened to them.
She just
like,
had
I would be
them.
the one to be like, I mean, I like Will Smith. I'll put him in, you know, and do all that stuff. And then like every now and then I would like experiment and just be like, who the fuck is Yanni? I'll be like, I'm gonna listen to some Yanni today. And then I remember I've never been able to find this version of the song, but my mom had a CD that wasn't your normal jewel case. It was like cardboard. It had like multiple things that folded out, and it was this like this big special thing, and it was supposed to look like a brown paper package with like strings and stamps and like, hey, this has been to Paris and this has been to all of that stuff. But it had a big stamp that said like top secret.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there was one song that I liked on there, and it was Moondance.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic song, but I've never been able to find that version of the song. I don't know who the album was by or who sang that version, but it's not the original version.
Huh.
Which I forget off the top of my head.
It's song, not Van Morrison, so you had a cover by like Sedan Morrison.
It's a cover that I don't know, but it was a fantastic cover, and that's where I first found that song. I love that song. But I think the first album that I ever bought must have been let's see.
I think the first
probably have it still in my room somewhere.
I think the first non-soundtrack album I ever bought, well, it might have been like a 2-disc Elton John greatest hits collection.
Okay.
Yeah, which I still have. It's still in my car.
So the first one that I remember buying was Satellite by POD.
Okay.
They were big at the time, and I like a lot of their stuff. But first album that I really got attached to was Will Smith, Big Willie Style.
Uh-huh.
It's great. That was like the first kind of hip hop anything that I had, and is what got me interested in hip hop. But I was like, no, I like this there hippity hop.
No, you know what? A musical album I did buy when I was 11. I did buy the first Gorillaz album because I liked those animated music videos so much. I remember listening to the Gorillaz album on a road trip to Branson.
There you go. I actually have a good story about the Gorillaz that I will tell in a sec here. But yeah, it was like Will Smith, Big Willie Style, and then I just was like, I really like this hip hop thing. And my parents were like, "Oh no, you don't. You know, not in our household." And so I couldn't ever really get into hip hop the way I wanted to. And so like my being in a Christian household, we had like Creed albums with arms wide open.
It's exactly what he sounds like.
Right. And then I got into POD, which is also a Christian band. But they did the whole like rock rap type of thing.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is their lead singer, they asked him to join the band originally because he could rap. Like that's what he did. He was like the drummer was like, "Hey, my cousin raps. Like you can go get him." And so they brought him on, but when they like their early stuff was like hardcore punk stuff. And then they got more into their like rock rap stuff, and then I like, oh man, he's rapping. I like this. This is great. And then I got to like teenage age where it's like, okay, I can kind of buy my own stuff. My parents can't really stop me, but they also don't want me getting the explicit stuff, right? So I had like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. And it was the clean version and stuff. I remember I had Chingy, Powerballin'. I had some terrible albums. But I got into hip hop and all that stuff that way. But Gorillaz.
Yes.
I remember watching Toonami, and there was a music video for their song Clint Eastwood on Toonami, because every now and then they did like, here's a Daft Punk music video, here's a Gorillaz music video, and I saw it and I loved it. I was like, what is this song? It is so good. I love it. It is catchy. And I think I had like taped it on some like Dragon Ball Z tape. I
also had a block of those on a VHS tape that our older brother recorded off of like late Adult Swim, like after midnight Adult Swim.
Midnight
when
Run.
We were not awake. We went to bed after Baby Blues. No movies.
Toonami's Midnight Run.
Yeah.
That was great. And like I came in late, so I never knew what that song was, but it like it stuck in my head that I could like repeat the tune, I could repeat the chorus, all of that stuff. And I ended up finding the song again like months down the road. I'm not sure how long exactly, but I found it by playing a video game.
Oh.
I rented from Blockbuster MTV Music Generator 2.
Whoa, what is this?
And this was a game for my PlayStation 2 that was a music creation game. It was basically a game version of like Pro Tools or stuff like that, where you could just make beats. It had just a ton of samples, and it had a big grid, and you would just arrange them all on there. But for some reason, in their special features, they had the music video to Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz, and I happened to watch it, and I was like, "It's that song! It's that song! I know this song!"
This seems wild to me that you would spend years wondering what the identity of a song that is one of the major songs of the 21st century. Like a song most people do know. It is not obscure.
It was obscure for me at the time.
Yeah.
Because I think the song had just come out. I had never heard of the Gorillaz. I wasn't even really allowed to listen to hip hop and stuff like that. So my music taste and what I knew was very sheltered. And I like the internet was a thing, but we had dial-up, and it was like you always have to have your parents there, and I didn't really know that was something I could do, of like type in the song lyrics of this thing to search for this song. Like it just hadn't occurred to me. And so I don't know how long it went, but I spent some time just being like, I really liked that song. I don't know if I'll ever hear it again. Like I don't know what it was or who it was by. And then I found it, and the Gorillaz are fantastic, and that's still one of my favorite songs. But yeah, that was like one of the more wild stories. Of just like, oh my god. This is weird. I guess I don't really have wild stories when it comes to music.
Do you listen to anything that your parents listen to? Because I am still kind of a classic rock person, and I put that on a lot. It's something I've been listening to a lot of while I'm here working at home, because I know that's what adults do. And it makes me feel, weirdly comforted. Like I'm responsible. I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac like my parents did. I'm an adult.
I usually not. For the most part, I don't like my parents' taste in music. But yeah, like I know that classic rock is great. There's some fantastic stuff, and I 100% will be like, yeah, when this is on, this is fantastic.
But you don't tend to like.
Yeah,
you don't click on
go-to.
it. Yeah, I like it enough that I have my own playlist of. It's just parent music. It's like music I remember from my parents and from
Is that
K-hits.
What the playlist is actually called?
No,
Parent
it's
music.
It's just called classics. It's like a do-it-myself K-hits.
Sure.
Yeah. It's got, and like the stuff I would listen to as a kid, because like when I wasn't listening to soundtracks, I was just listening to my dad's CDs. It's like, well, I guess I like Harry Chapin and Gordon Lightfoot. And honestly, I still do. This might be where the folk influence comes in.
Yeah.
In my Spotify algorithms.
Yeah. Let's see. What was I going to ask? Do you have an album you can think of that is like your favorite? Like this CD is my favorite, or like your top 3 if you can't pick.
It might be The Killer's second album, Sam's Town.
Okay.
I do really love The Killers. I haven't listened to their recent stuff as much, but like in like middle school, high school, they probably up until I was like 20 or 21, like they were my favorites. And their first couple albums I listened to over and over again. So Sam's Club, not Sam's Club.
The soundtrack to Sam's Club.
Sam's Town is still, it is a very close place in my heart. Yes.
Good stuff. Okay. I don't know if I can pick like this is an all-time favorite of mine. But I know that I really like By the Throat by Idea and Abilities. I like God Loves Ugly by Atmosphere.
Oh, I listen to a podcaster who really loves Atmosphere.
That would be me. I am a podcaster that really loves Atmosphere.
I didn't know I listened to two. I thought it was just Sean Jordan.
No, they are fantastic. Atmosphere makes some great stuff. I like that. Quell and Maker, the Harvest. That's another one I really
All of
like.
these sound ominous.
That one's gonna be a real niche one. I know most people won't know. Let's see. There is another hip hop group that I like called Deep Space 5, and they have an album called The Night We Called It a Day. And that I love that album. That's a fantastic one. Most of those are hip hop though. And I have, so I recently bought 2 vinyl albums. I kind of want to start a little bit of a collection, but more so to display, not to actually like play them or stuff like that. Like I have them hanging up on my walls now, and I have By the Throat by Idea and Abilities, and then I have Mad Villainy by MF Doom and Mad Villain. So you said they like these are all ominous sounding.
Right. All of these, and I don't know what any of these are. These all sound like, just based on titles alone, this sounds like this is what you put in when you're about to go into battle and you don't think you're going to make it out.
I don't know. No. I like not really. Like they're yeah. My favorite genre is hip hop. But I listen to a lot of what people would consider underground hip hop. So it's like it's not the mainstream stuff typically. It's usually people that don't get very much radio play on the popular stations. But I've always been very attracted to artists that like have a really, really good command of the English language.
Oh, good vocabulary.
Rhyming the same thing over and over and over. It's like, show some skill, please. Just that, or if they can do multiple styles of and like, or not styles, but like multiple genres. Like one of my favorite rappers, POS, got started in music playing punk stuff, and he was the bass guitarist in a punk band. And he like once he got to college, the band was like, well, we're all kind of splitting up, so the band is done. The band is over. And he was like, well, I kind of like making music, so I'm going to keep making music. And he always liked hip hop as well. So he was just like, well, hip hop is something I can like make in my bedroom. Like I don't need a full band to do that. And so then he just started making hip hop, and he like mixes his hip hop stuff with his punk stuff, and it just like this is a really unique sound.
Yeah.
It is admittedly not necessarily for everyone or stuff like that, but he can do stuff that is more like, oh, this is more traditional hip hop, and it sounds fantastic. And yeah, stuff where like in the chorus it has more like screaming style vocals and stuff like that. I'm just like, that this is a good mix. I like that. I don't know how it works, but it does. So good stuff like that.
Yeah, I think some other albums that have been important to me are, in middle school, I listened to a lot of Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. In college, I got really into this one Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds album. And I'd listened to some other Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. But like whenever Spotify puts them in a playlist for me, it's just pulling the songs off this one album I listened to so much. And that was The Lyre, Abattoir Blues and The Lyre of Orpheus. It's a double album.
Does that album by chance have the song Red Right Hand?
No, that's from an earlier work of theirs. Yeah.
Okay, I'm only asking that because I'm watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix, and that is the theme song, Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. And every once in a while, they get a different version of this song by someone else, but normally it's like it's that one. So that's the only time that I've heard of that band. So I feel prepared.
Did you see, I forget if it's in one of the two Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows movies. Did you see both of those?
I stopped at 6.
Okay,
like,
well.
These are bad. I don't like these films.
But in one of the Deathly Hallows, did you read the book? You read the book.
Yes, I have at least read the book. Yeah.
Okay, you remember when they're off on the camping trip and Ron freaks out and he runs off and he's just hiding at his brother's house for a couple weeks, and it's just Harry and Hermione on their own. In the movie, there's a scene where like they've got this little magic like wizard radio, and like they're stressed out and the song comes on the radio and they just dance with each other to it. That's a Nick Cave song. That's Oh Children. And so that's like, I wanted to listen to that song in full because I thought it was really pretty. And so that's how I got into Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
There you go. I've done stuff like that before. V for Vendetta is one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite comics as well. But there's a scene in the movie where Evie, I believe it's when she first wakes up and she's in his like secret lair. And she walks out and there is a song playing on the jukebox, and it's Cry Me River. And I don't remember who that version is by. It's some old jazz singer.
Okay, so not the Justin Timberlake one.
Justin Timberlake one, no. Let me see. I'll find it here because I have it in one of my playlists. Search River. It's probably the one by Julie London.
Okay.
This one. I was like, that is dreamy. I really like that song.
I like dreamy things.
Yeah, I ended up looking it up. I'm also a big fan of like really slow jazz like that focuses on vocals and stuff, and it's just like some man or woman just crooning this real slow song with maybe a piano, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's so good. I like it.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite albums is Chet Baker Sings.
Okay, yeah.
He's a famous trumpet player, but then he came out with this album a long time ago where he was also singing on these songs, and it's exactly that style of just like these really slow, jazzy songs. I'm like, this is so good. I like this. This is awesome. That's another one of my favorites, and one that I want to add to my vinyl collection.
Yeah.
So.
It seems like the sort of thing somebody would have in a vinyl collection. I don't think I'm going to be a vinyl person. I feel like I'm supposed to because it's cool. And I always dream of being cool, but like I don't know if there's enough individual albums I would want. Like, I've been kind of spoiled by Spotify. I'm too much of a playlist person now. Like, there are songs that I've listened to over and over and over again, and I've never sought out anything else that artist has done. Or I'd love somebody off of like 4 songs. I've not listened to a complete album.
That's understandable. Like, me saying I have a vinyl collection or want one is not really what it sounds like. Like, yeah, I want to have like my top 10 like favorite or most influential albums of all time, but also ones that like display like my like the variety of my taste in music. So I want like very specific ones, and it's not ones, again, it's like it's not ones that I want to necessarily listen to. I just want to frame them and display them. That's it.
That sounds good.
Here's the 5 of them that I own. That's it. I don't even have a record player.
You have to bring one over for me. If you want to listen to my records, I have the records, you bring the player. My parents have a record player. Like, they bought one of those it was like a Christmas gift for the family. One of those things that looks like an old-timey radio, but it has like a radio and a tape player and a record player and a CD player and everything in it. And I never played with the thing because they got it right when I was really into podcasts. I think once I might have hooked my iPod to it and listened to some thrilling adventure hour.
I can't wait for the day when we release our podcast on vinyl.
I think there are I've heard of some podcasts on vinyl. Like, they'll edit down, I think there's some Super Ego, and I think there might have been like one Comedy Bang Bang where they edited it down to just the best bits and made it vinyl length.
So funny. They're just like, now on cassette tape. 8-track radio.
Oh, well, we had like some comedy albums growing up. Like, I remember listening to some Bob Newhart comedy albums. I think a podcast, it fits in. I can listen to Bob Newhart, and then I can listen to Scott Aukerman, Matt Gorley, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not that far off. Have all of that stuff, but yeah, we're kind of spoiled by things like Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music and stuff like that. My like end of the year Spotify in review stuff is very skewed and messed up and does not paint a good picture of what I like. I mean, it's still stuff that I like, but I have a playlist that I put on when I go to bed. And it's like really soft, soothing music. It ranges from instrumentals to like slower jazz stuff, like what we were just talking about, but stuff that is calming or like makes you feel like you're floating, you know, and stuff like that. And I just have that on a really, really low volume, so it's like enough that it will distract me from thinking about stuff. And it's like, I can't sleep because I just can't shut my mind off. So I have something to focus on, but it's not loud enough that I'm distracted or kept up. But I have a lot of like piano versions of video game
Oh.
sound tracks. So all the like Final Fantasy piano collections and stuff like that. And multiple people have done different renditions of those songs. So I have like all of those in there.
Yeah.
So I think my most listened to artist last year was TPR. It is, I think, what they go by in Spotify. But yeah, they just do a bunch of like piano renditions of this like really calming music, and it's beautiful. But I have like all of the Final Fantasy stuff, all of the Kingdom Hearts stuff, all of the just like JRPG piano stuff in there. And I think my Spotify thing said I was in the like top 1% of the people that listen to them. I was like,
I got one of those too. Spotify told me I'm in the top 1% of listeners for Hozier.
Hey, there you go. That's a band that I've heard of. So you must like them a lot.
He is my favorite. I listen through his entire discography like once a month or so. And he's only had like 2 full-length albums and like assorted EPs and singles and things like that. So his entire catalog is like 42 songs.
Okay.
But I listened to it. I think Spotify said I listened to it for 9 hours. Like, no. What was it? I put this on Twitter. Hold on. What was the number it gave me?
9 whole days.
Something like that. It was I listened to he has 2.5 hours of songs, and I listened to him for 42 hours.
There you go. Good stuff.
Oh yeah. Last year
I have a number of playlists that I'm like slowly adding to over the years, and it's just different genres. Like here's my hip-hop playlist, which I think is like 7,000 songs ish. Let me see. I have a hip-hop one that is how do I tell how many songs are in here? It's not telling me how many songs exactly. But my hip-hop playlist is 302 hours and 47 minutes long.
Oof.
Let's see, where's my sleep one? Where'd it go? Sleep podcast is 73 hours and 22 minutes long. But that's nice because I'll just like put it on shuffle and play it while I sleep, and I don't have to like reset the thing once a week. It's like I can just leave this on for almost an entire week, and it's totally fine. I won't hear a song more than once. It's great. But yeah, I have stuff for like, here's all like a bunch of funk and disco songs. Here's a bunch of like jazzy hip hop songs. I have one playlist that is my bar and lounge mix.
Oh,
the odd occasion that I ever own a bar or a lounge. This is the one that I would play.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're prepared.
Bar, yeah. I have an electronic mix, an experimental mix, a house mix. I like house music a lot. All that stuff. I have instrumentals. All sorts of stuff.
I am also a big playlist maker. I don't have specific genre ones. I have like lots of themed ones. I make a lot of fan mixes now.
Sure.
Like I have a Venture Brothers playlist right now.
Fan mixes are the new AMVs.
AMVs, Kyle. AMVs are still out there.
Oh, I know. Quarantine has absolutely brought it back.
You know,
I've seen multiple people say like I'm at the stage of quarantine where I'm remaking some of my AMVs from high school. This is really embarrassing.
Something I've seriously considered spending my quarantine time on is making a Venture Brothers as Vines compilation. Because that's my... Every time I get into anything, I always go to YouTube and type in name of thing as Vines. And some of them, like, you can go deep. Like, I don't know how many Good Omens as Vines I watched last year. But other ones, like, I found 2 Venture Brothers as Vines. I tried to look up Lost. There's, again, like 2 of them, and they're both short. So I found, like, collectively 4 minutes altogether of this thing as Vines. And, like,
Melissa,
somebody's got to get to work on these.
Found your niche.
I'm just going to make really specific fandom Vine compilations. No, but I have fan mixes. I have, I still have the playlist I made last year for when Endgame came out. It was just the playlist for this is what we're putting on, because we made a whole day out of Endgame.
Yeah.
This is what we're listening to when we're driving around that day, because we're like, we're going to do brunch. We're going to go out to this one store we like. We're just going to drive around and listen to, and it's a lot of music, like from the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks. And I put on like graduation songs. Like the Vine C graduation song is on here. My Heart Will Go On theme from Titanic.
Will go on.
Stand By Me. Yeah, like just sappy We Are Friends songs I put on the Endgame playlist. And so I still have that thing.
That's great.
What do I have? I have a playlist for songs to play for my mom whenever we drive around in the car together. That is a mix of like modern things I think she'd like and some like classic parent music that I know she enjoys. I've got like This Is My I Am in Crunch Time at the Office playlist. You know, your rainy day playlist. I've got a playlist for my superhero RPG character, for my monster hunting RPG character. I have a playlist for driving around looking at mansions. I have a sci-fi playlist.
That's funny.
Yeah, I make like specific themed fandom or not playlists like that.
What's on the mansion playlist?
Oh, heck. First track appropriately is Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey from the Great Gatsby soundtrack.
Okay.
And this is made specifically, like, this is for me and Jack, so it's like a lot of songs that are important to us. So it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks. I have I Miss You by Blink 182 because that's a running joke on one of our favorite podcasts. Things like that. It's just like sweeping kind of glamorous stuff, and also songs that are just funny to be like, yeah, we're gonna drive through this really ritzy neighborhood listening to Wild Wild West.
Okay.
So this is like 13 and a half hours. This is an ever-growing playlist.
Good.
You know what I listened to a lot this week? Like, I spent like 3 hours listening to this. I listened to Duran Duran all day one day this week.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, I think this might just be the time. Because I'm like, I like enough of these songs. Let me get deeper into the catalog. And thank goodness Spotify puts together those. This is the artist. Like, this is the stuff you need to know. We went ahead and made the greatest hits for you. So I spent a whole day on that. I'm like, how old am I? Am I unstuck in time? Is anybody else sitting here working at home like, 4 hours of Duran Duran, please? I am under 30.
I think my goal with these playlists is that one day, I mean, I'm always looking for new stuff, but one day I want to get to the point where I can essentially just have some kind of iPod or a laptop on Spotify and have it be playing music constantly.
Yeah.
And it just shuffles it, and I maybe only have to reset the playlist once a month. Or I can change it if I want a different style, but there will always be something on. And instead of turning it off, I just turn the volume down, and it just continues to play, and it's more like a radio station of just like I can turn it on and I don't know what'll be on at this time. But I know
Oh.
it's going to be hip hop.
Yeah.
I like because I put it in a playlist, you know. But one
Yeah.
day,
That's interesting. That's a good goal.
that's my goal.
Yeah. I might make playlists for people while I'm stuck in here because it is one thing I think I'm okay at. I look back on my life, all my shortcomings. I'm like, well, I've got this thing going for me. I know I am better at making a playlist now than I was 8 years ago. I tried to make an Artemis Fowl playlist when that final book came out in 2012. And I went back and I looked at the playlist. I'm like, this is all right.
Not great.
This is an elementary attempt at it. I might try and do it again this year. Like, I redid it. It's better.
Okay,
More
good
variety.
stuff.
More
Good
than 10 songs.
Sounds good. Well, when that movie finally comes out, who knows when that will be? You'll have
However,
to
it
post
comes to me.
and be like,
Yeah.
here it is. Here's the finished
Yeah.
playlist.
I'm going to have this Venture Brothers playlist ready for next week when we record that episode.
Okay.
Like, this is because I make that playlist at the end of every year for the review show topics. I thought since this year we're watching the entireties of things, I made a Venture one, and I'm going to see if I can make a one for our next show coming up, which is Mr. Robot. We haven't mentioned that in a while. We're going to keep doing that.
Have not.
We already have our next show picked out.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday after we
Yeah.
record that. I'd be like, okay, next up, season 1, Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Here we go. So that'll be good. But I think that about wraps us up
Yeah.
for this week. Little bit of housekeeping before we get out of here. Of course, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnots. We just mentioned the review show, in which we have been covering the Venture Brothers once a month. At the end of every month this time. It's a little bit off kilter because of episode 100 on the review show is what we are recording this week. Big fantastic stuff. That's a good milestone. So be sure to check out all of that stuff on our website, thewhatnots.com, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. You guys can just type in the Whatnots and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnots is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. If you listen to only one of our podcasts every week, that's $0.25 a week.
Yeah.
So if you guys think we're worth $0.25,
I sure hope we are.
yeah, then help us out. We could absolutely use your help. I know recently I have been trying to push people to go subscribe to us on YouTube. I think I'm going to transition that to go subscribe to us on Twitch.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/thewhatnots. Is where you can find us. We live stream episodes of the Captain's Log, typically every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Be on the lookout for that stuff. We're live right now as we're recording this on Saturday morning. You guys can be a part of the conversation as well. Let's see, we have a bunch of exclusive content on our Patreon at the $3 tier for you guys to check out. And of course, we also want to give a big shout out to our patrons at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's especially in this like crazy quarantine time. Money is tight. Money is tight for a lot of people right now. I do also want to mention that we are still only $1 away from reaching our first goal on Patreon, which is only $15 a month.
Yeah.
So if you guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnots is where you can help us out. Keep the mics on. That being said, Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And you can find me at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with our podcast, we are at The Whatnots on Twitter. Yeah. Go like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell a foe. Sell your soul. Whatever you need to go do to help us out would be great. that being said, stay safe. We will be back next week with episode 90 of the Captain's Log. We're getting up there.
Whew.
So, good stuff. We will see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know down in the comments below what your favorite album of all time is down below. That would be pretty cool. See all of our music tastes. That'll be fun. In the meantime, though, go subscribe to our channel, which is right up there in that corner. Go do that, and then go watch one of our other videos, which is right down there in that corner. That would help us out a ton. Until then, though, we will see you guys next time. Stay safe. Bye.